pleasure of introducing to you two young ladies who work very closely and with one another, as well as the LPA from the ACLU Smart Justice Campaign. They are both two tireless advocates for criminal justice reform here in the South, and also they're just two amazing women. They eat, sleep, and live criminal justice here in Louisiana and the rest of the South. So without further ado, I get to introduce my great friends, Hamida, Labi, and Miss Dasheika, Ruffin. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
1 year ago today, we stood on the Capitol steps with the goal of making history in the state of Louisiana. And thanks to the courageous leaders that we just heard from, and more in the building behind us, both Republicans and Democrats, and the determination of you, the community members, from all across this state, that is exactly what we did. We made history. You called, you emailed, you showed up. Some may say that we got the change that we fought for and that we don't need to go further. Some may say that we should stop once Louisiana is no longer the #1 incarcerator in the world, and that we don't need to continue down the road of reform. We'll tell that to the children whose mothers and fathers have been swept up by this unjust system. Parents trying to raise their children from behind bars. Tell wait to the mothers and fathers who sat in jail for days, weeks, months, and years because they could not afford bail, who now have lost their children, their homes, their jobs, their livelihoods. Tell that to the men and women in a cage, sitting in a cage, for a mistake that they made 30 and 40 years ago. And they've been rehabilitated, and they have education, and they have job training. And without a change in our parole laws, they will die in prison. Tell that to those who cannot hug, kiss, or comfort their loved ones. Tell that to the people, all of the people of Louisiana suffering in this state because they cannot get services and supports that they need in public education, in health care, in jobs, in other economic and social service opportunities, because we spend hundreds of millions of dollars of our budget on locking people up.
Amen.
Martin Luther King Jr. says 300 years of humiliation, abuse, and deprivation cannot be expected to find voice in a whisper. Well, we're not going to whisper. The people of Louisiana have been humiliated, abused, and deprived of their freedom, equality, and justice for far too long. So to the people empowered today and every day going forward, we will not whisper. You will see us, you will hear us, and we are going to continue to fight. Absolutely. Good afternoon.
Wow, you must be bad.
So we're not here just to rally, to go home, and then go back as our lives as normals, correct?
Right.
We stand here together as one voice with one common goal. We are focusing on not only changing the system, but we're changing lives.
Amen.
So our fight is way bigger than just upon and on the Capitol today. Our fight goes way beyond that. Our fight is to change the system of what is happening today. So we must show up. We can't just show up at the Capitol. We must show up in our communities. We must hold our state legislators, our judges, our council, and most importantly, our district attorneys accountable. Letting them know that being the prison capital of the world is not a badge of honor. And to be honest with you, being second and third place is no prize either. We must let them know that we're not going to stop fighting until this state takes a real serious and accountable look at our justice system. We need to prioritize prevention, education, rehabilitation over destroying our communities, our lives, and our families. So you will hear a lot of our opponents of our progress say, you know what, you guys are going too fast. You guys need to slow this down. But I ask you today, do you guys think we need to slow down? Do you guys think that we can afford to sit on the sidelines and wait? I would think that Mr. Corey Ladd, who you heard from earlier, who potentially could have spent 20 years in prison for possession of marijuana, would agree with you. Matter of fact, I would say that we can't afford to slow down. Matter of fact, this change has taken too long already. So we're not going to continue, we're not going to stop fighting until we prioritize people over prison. And when I look at this beautiful crowd, because you guys are beautiful, I see that you guys are the coalition just to do that fight. And we're standing all together to do that. Now I know Miss Sarita has so many quotes, and I love all the quotes. You heard us talk about Martin Luther King Jr. earlier. And so it's not lost on me that next week starts the 50th year anniversary of his assassination. So we know that he was not able to complete his life work, right? But we're picking up the slack right now. We know that we have to continue on with this. So before I let you guys go, I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite quotes from Martin Luther King Jr. And it goes, "A social movement that moves people is just a mere revolt. But a social movement that moves both people and changes institutions is a revolution." So I say to you guys, welcome to the revolution, family.